bullshit.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? So this was a late August trip, I believe, towards the end of summer. Myself, my brother, and my dog were out, just going out. The plan was originally to go tog fishing, but we couldn't find any bait, so we grabbed a bunch of salted clams, some ballyhoo, and we're going to go out, do a little trolling, do some pot hopping for some mahi, and then try and anchor up on a couple spots for some sea bass. So that was the plan. We ended up kind of scratching the trolling and the pot hopping, stayed a little closer to shore, and just went around to a couple different wrecks as we were getting into some triggerfish and finding a lot of sea bass. So I'll be narrating here and there, but other than that, just sit back and enjoy.
You did not or did? Oh yeah, that was a better one. No? Yo, set it nice and smooth, and then just steady reel. There you go. Now a steady reel. Yeah, that was a better one.
Yeah, so if you heard me there, I was telling my brother Mike, he set the hook really hard, and then he was really aggressively trying to reel up the fish. And a lot of times when you do that, you don't really need to rush to get it up. You're better off having a nice smooth hook set, and then just a steady, slow retrieve on the reel, just to keep tension in that line, keep your rod bent. Will typically do the trick and keep the fish on.
Yeah, I just lost my bait.
So you'll see throughout this video, a lot of the fish we were catching on this day were on the shorter side. Typically when we go sea bass fishing, I like to be in like 90 plus feet of water. On this day, we stayed a little bit closer to shore because we didn't have a ton of time. So a lot of the fish we were getting were shorts, but we did still have a good amount of keeper-sized fish as well as a bunch of trigger fish that we ended up bringing home. So overall, it was a good day. But if you're going sea bass fishing, typically this time of year into the fall, you like to be in the deeper waters for those cooler temperatures and get the bigger fish.
Another good, decent one, dude. You got another decent one? Yeah. Let me just take her short. I'll throw it
Like I said earlier in the video, this was an August trip. Sea bass really opens up to, I think, 10 fish a person in October. But this time of year, we were allowed to keep 2, which we got. 2 per person, and I believe it was 12.5 inches in length, so that was no problem. Like I said, we did get in a lot of triggerfish as well, so we pretty much stayed at this spot the remainder of the day and just had a good time. It was pretty much dropping real fishing throughout the rest of the time we were there.
What's that, Ben? You like that fishy? Another nice one? Pull up harder, yank up real quick. There you go. Keep the hook in it.
Yeah, so again, like you heard me say there to my brother, the biggest thing is just keeping tension in that line and keeping your rod bent so you don't lose that fish. If you let slack in the line, there's a good chance somebody's going to pop off. August is one of my favorite times to go fishing up here in New Jersey. This time of year in August, I mean, really, you're allowed to keep a blackfish or a tog. You keep sea bass, you keep flounder. There's mahi around. All the pelagics are coming closer to shore, following the Gulf Stream. The water's warm. Really, typically if I'm going out this time of year, I'm going out for a mixed bag of whatever I can get. You bring all the gear, all the equipment, so you can do some trolling. You can do some bottom jigging for flounder. You can bring some blackfish jigs, get a tog or 2. You get some sea bass. You could really go out for almost anything this time of year. It really is a lot of fun. Fun time to go fishing up here in New Jersey.
There you go. Set it hard. Keep that tight. Keep it tight. Keep it tight. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Oh yeah, he'll keep. Nice. That's a big one. Hell yeah.
I didn't mention this earlier, but for anyone who's curious, for sea bass fishing, typically what you're going to do is, a lot of guys will do short, controlled
Yeah, I
drifts
think
over
it's three in
structure.
the top of the
These
wreck and then
fish,
just
they
off
do
the
like to
side
be
a little
around
bit
structure, similar to
because
blackfish
it's
or
jumping
tog.
from like 80 to
Um,
50 to
but
40.
most of the time you're going for sea bass, what you're doing is you're anchoring over the wreck or the structure. So fortunately, we have the trolling motor, as you've seen in other videos. So what we do is we find a wreck. Um, we put the spot lock on, and we'll hold in place there. Fish for about 10 or 15 minutes. If we're not getting any bites, usually if the sea bass are there, they're there. They start chewing the second your sinker hits the bottom. So if we're not getting any bites or we're not getting quality fish, we'll fish for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll move around the wreck, or we'll hop to a totally different piece of structure and try fishing that. But overall, you want to be anchored when you're sea bass fishing. Um, for today, our bait of choice is clams, but really they'll eat anything. They'll eat pieces of squid, they'll eat gulp. You can jig for sea bass. They are a fun fish to catch. They're not my favorite, but when you get into heavy numbers of them, good quality size fish, it is a lot of fun. You can come home with a lot of table fare when they're in season. So for that reason, I like going out earlier in the year, like we are doing here. Trying to find a couple good spots that produce a lot of fish. So when we have clients in the fall that want to go sea bass fishing, we know where the fish are at. 'Cause for the most part, they're not really moving.
Maybe if I go to the front of the boat, I can get a trigger. Loaded with sea bass.
So unfortunately, on this day, I really was just out having a good time with my brother. I wasn't too worried about filming and getting a lot of the catches on video. So as you can see, most of the fish that I'm getting are just these little sea bass. Um, I was also, while we were out there, experimenting with the drone and trying to get good angles and perspectives to mess around with that. Of course, as I had the drone out, that's when we hooked up to a nice size trigger. My brother did. So you'll see here in a second another angle of the boat with the drone out. You can also, I want you to take note of the spot lock on the trolling motor at the front of on the bow of the boat. You'll see it holding us in place. It really is an effective tool. Um, and you can kind of see the setup on my boat from this perspective to give you an idea of how we're able to deploy it under the bow rail. I do get a lot of questions on that.
It is weird being the only boat out here, isn't it?
All right, so here's the drone view. Unfortunately, there's no audio, so it's just going to be my voice here. But there you can see my brother just set the hook on what we soon found out was a real nice trigger fish. So I think this was our second or third one we caught, but first one we got on video. And of course, it wasn't with the GoPros with the drone, but real nice trigger we were able to pull up. He was pretty pumped. It was his first one. I was excited for him. So he's got a nice little high five there. And before I throw this in live, I just want you to take note. If you look at the bow, like I said, you can see that spot lock, that trolling motor holding this 30-foot boat in place. It's super effective, saves a ton of time, and overall it's just a great tool, great addition to the boat. We use this for almost all the fishing we do, from flounder fishing, drift to setting your drifts, controlling your drifts, to spot lock. We are here to catch sea bass, trigger fish, and tog in the wintertime. It's really comes in handy. Really, there's no cons that I could think of or negatives to not using the trolling motor over the anchors. It's just saves you a ton of time, and the only downside is if you get anything over a 3 or 4 foot swell, it's going to have a tough time holding you in place, especially a boat this big. You can already see it in these conditions, which is nothing. The shaft really flexing. So in that case, obviously the anchors would be better, but overall it's a great tool to have, and most of the time you're going to be fine. It's going to hold you in place just like you need it to. So I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you like this content, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for any future content that gets released. Please like it. If you want to leave a comment, please let us know what else you'd like to see. Other than that, I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.